This is Adventure for Life. I'm Joel. This is day 10 of the Grenadier 15,000 mile cross-country trek. I am headed to Death Valley today. So the last couple of days I haven't videoed because visiting friends, doing some other stuff. But today is Death Valley. I am heading into Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area, and I'm going to give you a quick 360, just absolute beautiful country. I spent the night in Vegas last night, again visiting a friend there, and if you were watching the video, the Cutlass trip last year, my radiator fans quit working, not the fans themselves, but the controls for the fans, and this guy that I visited helped me fix that on the drive, and so I appreciated that, and he's very technically capable. So anyway, headed to Death Valley. Interestingly, yesterday when I got into Vegas, into Vegas, 122 degrees yesterday. So there's some big heat wave going across the US. 122 degrees. This vehicle, and I said this on the earlier video, has not left 194 degrees. There's been no time that the temperature that I've seen has gone above that. I drove through Parker and Lake Havasu City, Arizona a couple of days ago. Drove some down I-10 toward LA. I drove for probably 4 hours with the temperatures ranging from 115 to 120 at highway speeds with the air conditioner on high, and just absolutely no issues, which I'm just really thrilled about that aspect. And obviously going into Death Valley today, I'm thrilled about that aspect. Today the high in Death Valley is supposed to be, I think, 120 maybe. So today actually represents a cooling from some of the very high heats that they've had. I think it's supposed to be like 6 or 7 degrees cooler today. So we'll see what Death Valley has to offer, and really looking forward to that. Never been to Death Valley, so that's going to be a new experience for me, and very much looking forward to it. Okay, I should add, if you can see there, the crack has now propagated from there all the way to there. I have State Farm insurance. This window's supposedly $2,200, and although I've been told that there's more expensive ones, State Farm uses some kind of third-party processor called Link Services to handle their windshield insurance claims. So they work together with Warner Ineos in Salt Lake City, and supposedly I'm going to pay nothing on Tuesday when I go get my first service visit done and get my windshield replaced. And so, by the way, Warner Ineos told me that they're working on developing some kind of product that you lay over the glass to help protect it, because I had a friend of mine look at this car and he said that windshield is an absolute rock magnet, and that is very true. And I won't be surprised if this windshield gets cracked multiple times. So anyhow, Warner Ineos is supposedly working with some third parties to develop some kind of film or some kind of coating for these windshields to help reduce the risk of cracking. But I will say again, I have been thrilled. I was happy with my insurance company for covering it. The third party that they work with was kind of a joke, but at least they got the job done. And Warner Ineos, to me, so far has just been absolutely fantastic, and I look forward to reporting on how that whole process goes in a few days. Okay, I'm not many miles down the road from where I started the video, but wow, just this kind of country to me is just absolutely beautiful. It's magnificent, it's immense. Obviously that embankment over there is maybe not the greatest thing, but seeing the mountains in the distance and just the rise specifically behind the Grenadier, to me is just absolutely fantastic. I didn't notice, and there were more of them that I just now passed, but I went to Joshua Tree National Park in California last year, and I guess I'm still in Nevada right now. But if you can see those cactus there, and you maybe can't see the ones in the distance, but there's a bunch of them. And I think those are Joshua trees, or maybe similar to. Anyway, so got another area with a bunch of cactus, and then just again the immensity of the mountains in the background and whatnot, and obviously the coolest vehicle on the road. So I'm just a couple miles outside the Death Valley Park, but I thought I'd give you a look at, this is just, the term that comes to mind is wasteland. By the way, you hear the fans on high again. It's by the way, I started the day in Vegas at 92 degrees. I think it's 106 right now where I am. The high today, again, supposed to be somewhere in the 120s. But if you can see that, it is parched, dry wasteland. Now again, it's got an aspect of beauty to it. If you think the only thing that's beautiful in the world is mountains and trees, then this ain't your kind of place. But there is a rustic, rough beauty to it. Obviously you see the mountains in the distance and whatnot, but again, when I saw this, the word that popped in my mind was wasteland. And there are some, by the way, there are some roads that just appear to go out in the middle of nowhere that appear to be public roads that I could have done. I don't have time for all that on this trip, but I thought I'd give you a look real quick. Again, you got the mountains in the distance there, and there are mountains all over the place. In fact, I'll do a quick 360 as I'm frequently do, and it's wasteland in the foreground and mountains in the distance, and certainly got its beauty to it. Okay, made it to Death Valley National Park, the homeland of the Timbisha Shoshone, so I assume that's a branch of an Indian tribe, something like that. Now I'll give you the quick 360 again, and if you can hear the radiator fans are for sure on high. It's like 106 right now, so again the high supposedly today is in the mid 120s. It's or low 120s. It's about 11 o'clock right now in the morning, so obviously it's going to hit peak heat probably around 5 or so, something like that. So the wasteland kind of area to me is gone, and it's more this mountainous area. So I think, Death Valley is a relatively large national park. And so I think I'm going to be seeing just lots and lots and lots of this mountain and dryness. We are, by the way, heading downhill at this moment. So we'll see how, obviously the reason it's so hot here is because it's one of the lowest places on Earth, I believe. So I'll show you more later. Okay, so I've reached Dante's View. And it was kind of climb up here. The last time I saw the temperature on the vehicle, it showed 99, but it was definitely going down. So altitude clearly had an impact, and it is just not anywhere near as hot up here as it was. There's a little breeze. You can see that bush or little tree there blowing in the wind. So really nice reprieve from the heat we've been seeing. So down there appears to be a creek bed, and it is massive, and we'll see. This is obviously a touristy area, so we'll see what is on this side. I think it's an even bigger area for this riverbed. So I don't know what that is. Looks like salt, or it's like the white sand area. I'm not sure what the altitude is here. Right here, I guess I can check on the Grenadier, but this is just an absolutely vast canyon, valley, whatever you want to call it. Just extraordinary. Yeah, so you've heard me say this a bunch of times before, but you know, camera, GoPro could never get anywhere close to doing justice to what I'm seeing. And so this, we'll call it riverbed again, extends all the way down there. And I would guess, again, similar forces as to what caused white sands would be what has created this white sand. And you know, there's a trail down there. I'm not going to go that far. I may go hike up there a little bit and see what we got. So again, if I didn't say it earlier, this is Dante's View, and it is some kind of dry river basin, Amargosa River, I believe it said. They said there's water that flows underneath the ground that comes up above every now and then, and of course you get the very periodic and rare flash floods. So there's the road we came out. It was quite, from the main road, it was about 13 miles out here, I guess, but a very enjoyable drive. You could really make a great post-apocalyptic movie in Death Valley. A little surprised they haven't done that, but anyway, we'll see what else we got. One other thing real quickly, I mean, there are quite a few, you know, other people here, and obviously the parking lot's a lot bigger for, I guess, during the winter months or whatnot, but lots, I've heard multiple foreign languages when I've been up here, so you got people from all over the world visiting Death Valley. So I've returned from Dante's View, and in fact am at the point where I turned off the main highway right there where that stop sign is. And if you look here at this sign, it says Dante's View 13 miles. So a couple of things that are of interest, and you're going to think I'm weird after I tell you the second one, but first it was 95 degrees. So when I got up to the top, the thermometer in the Grenadier was showing 95 degrees. When I just now got out, it was showing 111. So there's the difference in temperature based on elevation. On the elevation right now showing on the Grenadier is showing 189 feet. So we'll be able to see what the decrease there was from the top of Dante's View down to here, and created that difference in the temperature. One thing, by the way, that I have found with the altimeter, and I hope I'm using the right word, in the Grenadier, I've been at sea level several times in this car, and it's showing 30 feet altitude or elevation. So, you know, it's not quite right. I assume anytime I'm at, and this may be a stupid statement, but I assume anytime I'm at sea level, no matter where in the world I am, that the elevation or altimeter ought to be showing 0 on the screen. And if one of you guys, smart guys, knows better than that, please say so in the comments. But here's the weird thing that I did. When I started leaving, it was pretty steep at the very start. So I said, you know, I'm going to put it in manual and put it in first gear and just use the gearing instead of riding the brake. So I did that for, I don't know, a quarter of a mile, something like that. Then it got a little bit flatter, so I moved it into second, a little bit flatter, moved it into third, a little bit flatter. And finally, I got to the point where the transmission was slowing the car down enough that I said, you know, I'm going to put this thing in neutral and I'm just going to see how long I coast. I coasted. I didn't use the accelerator from the top of Dante's View to right here. I coasted downhill for 13 miles, which would be somewhere around 20 minutes. Again, I started down in first, then second, then third, and then I just got this idea, oh, I'll put it in neutral and see what happens. I did not realize when I got off the main road that I was climbing all that time. I really just realized at the tail end when we actually got to the mountain, but I was going uphill the entire time, so I got through coasting, like I said, for probably 20 minutes and 13 miles down from the top of Dante's View. Okay, we'll see what else Death Valley has in store. So I've gotten off on 20 Mule Team Road, which is obviously a backcountry kind of road or whatever. I just checked and it's 116 degrees right now. Again, as they say jokingly, it's a dry heat. So it really is, for me, it feels pretty darn nice. Anyway, again, back to the post-apocalyptic movie, this would be a perfect place to do it. I do need to tell you, I misspoke earlier when I stopped last and said that I was at 189 feet. I thought I was at 189.1 feet. I was actually at 1,891 feet because I just passed a sign just probably a mile or two ago that said elevation 1,000, and I'm clearly going downhill. I'm probably in the 900s or 800s where I am. So again, I don't remember exactly what the depth of Death Valley is. We'll see it later, I'm sure. It seems like it's 103 or 110 or 113 or something like that. And that's where the extreme heat comes from. Anyway, I'm gonna go do something dumb that I shouldn't do, which is get off on this back country road with no cell phone coverage and no one else out here. At least I got a cool car and a little water. And if this is my last video clip on Earth, then it was good to know you. Just a little quick footage of the drive. Get some action shots of the Grenadier. Again, handling the bumps and the washboards and the little dips, potholes well. This trail's been a lot of fun so far, and then I saw this coming up and I thought, wow, I got a video of that. This is just really, really interesting. By the way, one of the reasons I was willing to take off on this thing was I saw a one-way exit off the main road not long before I saw the entrance for this trail. So I'm assuming that, and of course, assume will get you, but I'm assuming that I'll be back on the main road. I haven't even gone a full mile yet, I don't think. So I'm assuming I'll be back on the main road within, 5, 10, 15 minutes. If that doesn't happen, I'll have to opt for plan B, whatever that is. But anyway, really, 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 really fun to do this off-road kind of thing and backcountry kind of thing, and obviously this is the right vehicle to do it in. So I said earlier I passed a sign that said elevation 1,000 feet. So when I got on that 20 mule trail, it looped back, and it was what I expected. It was probably your 2 or 3 mile trail, something like that. It took me 10 minutes. Lot of fun. But here's that elevation 1,000 foot sign, and you probably can't read it, but on the altimeter it's showing 908 feet. So I'm going to get that as close as I can get it, and maybe it can be read. 908 feet. So, you know, the altimeter is not exactly right. Again, when I've been at sea level, it's shown, I think, I said 30 feet earlier. I think it's been showing negative roughly 30 feet when I've been at sea level. So it's not exactly correct. We'll check it again because I'm confident that we're going to see an elevation marker at the bottom of Death Valley. So there's the Grenadier, if you can see it, and I'm headed up to Zabriskie Point. It said it's only 100 yards up there. There's some other hiking trails around here that are 2 or 3 miles long. I don't imagine there's anybody out there doing that right now because it's 120 degrees. So if you can see that family right there, they've had to stop 3 times on their way up. They're speaking some kind of European language. It's not French. It's not Italian. Maybe it's Norwegian or whatever, something like that. But it was interesting how, blonde. Interesting how the heat's getting them. And so I think that's probably what we saw from Dante's View earlier out there. But pretty nice high point here. Lots of different colored rocks and landscape or whatnot. Yeah, so there's a sign back there. By the way, if you can see down there in the bottom, there's what appears to be trails. And again, there's supposedly 3 miles of trails around here. You certainly wouldn't want to set off unless it was a lot cooler than this right now. You can see the parking area down there. Okay, there is the Death Valley Inn, which looks like a really nice place. And so if you ever decide you want to come to Death Valley, probably be a good place to stay. This little monument here said that several hundred people in 1849 wanted to have a shortcut to the gold country in California, and they decided to go through Death Valley. And it doesn't say specifically, but I get from it that none of them survived. A couple of stats real quick. That sign says elevation, sea level. The altimeter on the Grenadier is showing negative 88 feet at the moment. So again, it's obviously not 100% accurate. Temperature gauge is showing, for the car, is showing exactly what it should, which is 194 degrees. It has not varied from that at all. The thermometer is showing 121. I did see 123 earlier. So we'll see how deep Death Valley goes. Again, I don't remember for sure. I believe that is what we were looking at from Dante's View. And I guess that is Death Valley proper, and that's where I'm headed.